text number 1 to 4. Today I don't have the PowerPoint handy, so we'll just discuss like that.
So can we do a Veda based, Prabhuji?
Yeah, we will share the Veda base and continue with that.
Yeah. Krishna Prabhuji, can you share the screen?
Jnanatimirandasya Gyananjana-Chalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So today we shall be discussing from first canto, 6th chapter, text number 1 to 4. These are the few questions asked by Sutta Goswami. These are the actually few questions asked by Vyasdev, from Narad Muni. So text 1. Sutta Uvacha Evam Nishamya Bhagavan Devarishi Janma Karma Cham Bhuya Prapachatam Brahman Vyasa Satyavati Sutta. Sutta said, O Brahmana, thus hearing all about Sri Narada's birth and activities, Vyasdev, the incarnation of God and son of Satyavati, inquired as follows. So, Narad Muni was describing his previous life, and just to give reference, the life that has been described by Narad Muni in the previous chapter, or Narad Muni is describing his activities as a son of Shudrani, a maid servant. This happened not in the current day of Brahma. It's not only in current Yuga cycle, but it didn't even happen in this day of Brahma. It happened in the previous day of Brahma. So just to give historical background, we are currently in the 28th Yuga cycle of the 7th Manu of the current day of Brahma. So we understand Brahma, in one day of Brahma, there are 14 Manus. Okay. And each Manu rules for little over 71 Yuga cycles. So each Manu rules little more than 71 Yuga cycles, and each Yuga cycle is consisting of 4 Yugas: Satya, Treta, Dwapar, and Kali. These are the 4 Yugas which are in one Yuga cycle. So 71 such Yuga cycles go by, and then one day Brahma, one Manvantara passes by, and then 14 Manus pass by. Then it constitutes, then it makes of one. Then it makes one day of Brahma. So just imagine, this Kali Yuga lasts for 4,32,000 years. Dwapar is double of that, that is 8,64,000. Treta is 3 times of that, that is 1.296 million years. And Satyuga is 4 times of that. So if we combine all the 4 ages together, that comes 4.32 million years. 43,20,000 solar years on our earthly region. That constitutes only one Yuga cycle. 4 Yugas combined. So 71, little more than 71 Yuga cycles go by, That is the one reign of Manu. One Manu rules for that moment duration. And we are now in 7th Manvantara. So just multiply, and we are in the 28th Yuga cycle, because this Manvantara also will have 71 Yuga cycles. So we are right now on 28th Yuga cycle. So of which Satyug, Treta, Dwapar, Kali Dwapar have passed by. Kali Yuga is in progress. Okay. So 26 Yuga cycles are gone by, and 6 Manus are also gone by in this day of Brahma. So you can just imagine how many millions and millions of solar years have already passed. This incident took place sometime in the previous day of Brahma. Even if we say it took place, toward the end of Brahma's day, still millions of years are gone by. So Narada Muni still remembers this incident. This is actually explained in Brahma Purana. That Narada Muni, in the beginning of creation, of course, now Brahma is 50 years old. The Brahma within our universe is 50 years old now. This is the 51st year, the first day of 51st year of Lord Brahma's life is going on. This information also we get from the Puranas. So Brahma is 50 years old in our universe. This is the first day of his 51st year. Okay. So Brahma, in the beginning of creation, when Brahma just started creating, this was almost 3 days back of Brahma, 3 days ago, when Brahma started creating the universe, after he woke up from the sleep. So 3 days back, 3 days of Brahma, not our calculation. Brahma had Chatushkumara as his sons, and he told them that you all get married and produce children. I want the whole universe to be populated. And Chatushkumara refused. We cannot marry. We don't want to get married. They were like, some brahmacharis in Hare Krishna movement. So they refused. Father, we don't want to get married. And Brahma got angry. We know this instance from also Bhagavatam also describes this instance. So Brahma does get angry. But he didn't tell anything to Chatushkumara. But the anger produced Rudra. So Rudra actually was born from in between the eyebrows of Lord Brahma. Because of his anger, Rudra manifested from him. So anyway, he didn't tell anything to Chatushkumara. Then he went to Narada Muni. He told Narada Muni, you get married and have children. And Narada Muni, like typical brothers, how in a family brothers would say, oh, you didn't tell him, but you are telling me. So Narada Muni told him, I don't want to get married. Brahma said, no, you have to get married. He said, no, I don't want to get married. Why are you telling me? Tell the first 4 sons. They didn't get married, didn't tell them anything. Did you pick up me from garbage? Why you are telling me to do same thing? Children say like that sometimes. Did you pick up me from garbage? You don't love me? You love my brother, you don't love me? So similarly, Narada Muni told Brahma that, why are you not telling elder brothers? Why are you telling me to get married? So Brahma got really angry. And he told, Narada Muni told him that, I simply want to dedicate my life in worshipping Krishna. I want to work for self-realization. I don't want to get entangled in creating and in getting married and having so many children and get entangled in this process of creation. So Brahma got angry and he cursed Narada Muni. He said, you rascal, you don't want to obey my instruction? I curse you. I curse you that you will become a first-class lampat. Lampat means a person who is fond of many, many women. Krishna is also called, Krishjul among the lampats. So Brahma, he told Narada Muni, you will become a lampat. You will be so much mesmerized by the woman. Go, I curse you. So, in the one life, in one day of mind, you will become a Gandharva and you will be mad after woman. Then, next life you will become a Shudra. And in third life, you will come back to me and become again my son, as Narada. So Narada Muni got so angry. He said, my dear father, and I want to dedicate my life for Krishna consciousness. I just simply wanted to, serve Krishna. I wanted to perform devotional service. Why did you unnecessarily curse me? This is not at all befitting to a father, a loving and kind father. The purpose of our existence is to practice Krishna consciousness. So since you have unnecessarily cursed me, I also pronounce this curse. That for you have cursed me for next 3 days, it will be only the third day that I'll be coming back and becoming your son. But I curse you for next 3 days of your life. Nobody will worship you in the universe. Only demigods will respect you and listen to you, but no one, including the humans, will worship you. Even demigods will not worship you. They will simply respect you and obey your command, but nobody will worship you. So this is the third day of Brahma when Brahma is not worshipped anywhere in the universe. The only place the temple of Brahma exists even on this earth is in Pushkara. Pushkara is a place, a city in India where there's a temple of Lord Brahma. So Lord Brahma is not worshipped anywhere in the universe because of the curse of Narada Muni. So then Narada Muni, he became a Gandharva named Upabharana. This comes in Bhagavatam in the later cantos. That how Narada Muni was actually a Gandharva named Upabharana. And he was lumped. He was mad after women. All time he would be simply, in the association of women. And next life he became, next day of Brahma, he again became a Shudra. And that was the previous day of Brahma. So this day of Brahma, he was again back as Narada Muni. And he's always, enwrapped in worshipping Krishna. So Vyasdev, since he heard the life of Narada Muni, he is inquiring from Narada Muni now. What is he inquiring? Vyasa Uvacha Vikshubhir Vipravasite Vijnanadeshribhistava Vartamano Vayase Ade Tata Kim Akarod Bhavan. Shri Vyasdev said, what did you, Narada, do after the departure of great sages who had instructed you in the scientific knowledge, scientific transcendental knowledge before the beginning of your present birth? So, Narada Muni was describing that how he received the mercy of the great sages. So, he had received their remnants, he had received the knowledge from them. So, after receiving the knowledge, what was the course of action of Narada Muni? Because this was kind of initiation for Narada Muni. Narada Muni was initiated by these great sages. Many times in our ISKCON Sampradaya, many devotees who come to Krishna consciousness, they think the goal of my life is to become initiated. Once I'm initiated, finish. Done. But initiation is just the beginning of life of dedication in Krishna consciousness. It's not the end, it's the beginning. That means I'm promising to Guru to dedicate my life in service of Hari, Guru and Vaishnavas. In other words, engage in devotional service. So he is inquiring from Narada Muni that what did you do after receiving the initiation, after receiving the instruction from the spiritual master, from these Bhakti Vedantas? What did you do? So this is a very valid inquiry. Prabhupada says this process is technically called Sadharma Pricha. Sat means eternal. Dharma means characteristics of the living entity, which cannot be separated from him. And pracha means the inquiry or question about it. So Sadharma Pricha means to inquire about the Sadharma. So one should inquire from the spiritual master about Sadharma. Not about, oh, I'm not getting married, what should I do? Oh, I'm not getting job. My family is not listening to me. My wife is not cooperative. My husband is, not very cooperative. My children are not cooperative. What should I do? These are not the questions to be brought to the spiritual master. One should approach spiritual master for Sadharma Pricha, for inquiring about the eternal constitutional duty of living entity in relationship to Krishna. No duty in this world is actually eternal. My duty to my family. Some people are very much, dedicated. I have to serve my parents. Okay, that's a good thing. It's not something bad. Definitely should be done. But that's not Sadharma. In every life, we get different set of parents. It says, in every lifetime, everyone gets a father and mother. Janame janame sabe pita mata pai. In every lifetime, everybody gets father and mother. Getting father and mother is not something unusual. Even animals, even birds, every living entity has father and mother. Sometimes people, out of sentiment, they say, it's a very rare thing to have father and mother. They will be passed away from this world, so serve them, which is a good sentiment. But Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Janame janame sabe pita mata pai. Everybody gets father and mother in every life. There is no question of birth without father and mother. But Guru, accepting a spiritual master or guidance from a Guru, Bahunam Janmanam Ante, Jnanavan, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, a person may become intelligent after many, many lifetimes. Brahmand Brahmite Kono Bhagya Manachi, Guru Krishna Prasade Paye Bhaktilata Bij. Kono Bhagyavan Jiva. Chaitanya Charitamrita says, after Brahmand Brahmite, after wandering in this whole universe, sometime becoming a demigod, sometime becoming an animal, sometime becoming a human being, sometime becoming a demon, or a tree, or a creeper, or aquatic. Brahmanda Brahmite, Kono Bhagyavanaji, very rare soul who actually is fortunate. Kono Bhagyavanaji, Guru Krishna Prasade, Pai Bhaktilata. By the mercy of Guru and Krishna, one receives the seed of devotional service. So, coming in contact with a Guru who actually plants the seed of devotional service within our heart is a very, very rare thing. It doesn't happen in every lifetime. It doesn't happen in millions of lifetimes also. It's a very rare thing. So, one should try to accept a spiritual master. Seek a bona fide spiritual master. And Sadharma Pricha. Inquire from him the purpose of human life. What is my eternal duty? I've been fulfilling my duties towards my family. Everyone does it. Even animals and birds also do it. But what is my duty? Sadharma. What is my eternal duty? Which is actually to serve Krishna. Jivera Sarupa Hoy Nitya Krishna Das. Because we are eternal servants of Krishna, therefore it is our eternal duty to render devotional service unto him. So, Vyasadev's question is from Narada about what did he do? Sadharma Pricha. What course of activities he performed so that Narada Muni can follow in his footsteps of his Guru Maharaj. We go to text 3, says, Swayambhu Kaya Vritya Vartitam Te Param Vaya Katham Chedam Udasrakshi Kale Prapte Kale Varam. O son of Brahma, how did you pass your life after initiation? And how did you attain this body, having quit your old one in due course? So here the question is continuing about what course of activities Narada Muni adopt after initiation. And he says, how did you attain this body as a Narada? And also, very significant thing is, quit your old one body. Krishna also explains in Bhagavad Gita, Jatasya hi dhruva mrityu, dhruva janma mritasya cha. Dhruva means 100% guaranteed. Something that's going to happen 100%, no exceptions allowed. That's called dhruva. Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityu. Krishna says, anyone, jata means born. Anyone born surely will die. Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityu. Definitely will die. And dhruva janma mritasya cha. And one who is dead, next birth is guaranteed. So this is the cycle in the material existence. Material existence, in this entire material creation, anyone who's born will surely die. And anyone who is died is bound to take birth again. Somewhere he will take birth. That's what Krishna was telling Arjuna also on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. My dear Arjun, you are worried about your grandfather, but you should know, Natevaham jatunash natam neme janadipa. Sarveva mataparam. Krishna says, all of us, we are eternal. These kings on the battlefield, all these kings, you, me, all of us, we are eternal. We have not taken birth and we will not, the living entity has not come into existence and will not come into existence. That means we are all eternal. We just change the bodies. We are ever existing. So, Narada Muni also quit his body and he attained the body of spiritual form of Narada Muni. So Narada Muni is not a material form. Narada Muni is actually the eternal associate of the Lord. He has a Satchida Ananda Vigraha form. One time, Narada Muni went to Hiranyakashipu. He was having some argument with Hiranyakashipu, and Hiranyakashipu, nobody would dare to argue with him. The demigods, including Indra, they were fearful of him. So, Narada Muni, he was taking the name of Lord Vishnu in front of Hiranyakashipu, and there was some argument between Narada and Hiranyakashipu. So Hiranyakashipu told Narada Muni, if you do not agree with me, I'll chop off your head. And Narada Muni is fearless. He is the eternal associate of the Lord. He had no fear. So he did not agree. And Hiranyakashipu actually took the sword and he tried to chop off the head of Narada. But to his great amazement, the sword went right through the body of Narada. And Narada didn't have even a scratch on his body. Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavaka. No shastra, no weapon can cut the soul into pieces. And fire cannot burn it. Water cannot drown it. Air cannot wither it away. So Hiranyakashipu was amazed. he told Narada Muni, where did you get this body from? How did you get it? And something similar, Vyasadeva was asking, how did you attain this body? This is spiritual form. So this is the question by Vyasadeva. We go to the text 4. Prakalpa vishayam etam smritim te muni sattamam nahi esha vyavadhat kalam esha sarva nirakriti. O great sage, time annihilates everything in due course. So how is it that this subject matter, which happened prior to this day of Brahma, is still fresh in your memory, undisturbed by time? Now, this is actually a very beautiful verse. Kala esha sarva nirakriti. Kala or time makes everything sarva nirakriti. Akriti means you can say a form or a creation. And nirakriti means annihilation of the forms. So, sarva nirakriti. Time makes everything null and void in due course of time. So, Vyasa is asking, time destroys everything, no, in this creation. How is it that, the subject matter that happened in the previous day of Brahma is still fresh in your memory? It's Prak-kalpa. So this is the reference here. Prak-kalpa means prior day of Brahma. Kalpa is considered day of Brahma. Brahma's day is called Kalpa. So Prak-kalpa means the previous day of Brahma. Vishayam, subject matter that happened or transpired. How is it still fresh in your memory? Smritim te muni sattama. How is it still fresh in your memory? Because time destroys everything in this creation. Actually, time destroys everything in this creation except one thing. One thing is not destroyed by the time. In fact, I'll say not, we are talking about the material things. We are not talking about spiritual things. The soul is, of course, cannot be destroyed by the time. But in material sense, everything is destroyed by time except one thing. If a living entity lives in this material world, one thing increases or enhances, everything else destroyed. And what is that one thing that enhances or increases? Is ignorance. If the living entity stays longer in this material creation, his ignorance goes on increasing. But everything else decreases. Everything else is destroyed. Say, for example, take anything in this world. For example, this phone through which I have logged into this call. A year ago, when I bought this, 1.5 years ago, when I bought this phone, it was new. It would work in a different way. But now it is getting old. Sometimes it doesn't catch the network or something like that. In the new phone, no issues, no problem. But when it starts getting old, the network issues start coming and things change. Why? Because on molecular level, everything is getting destroyed. If you had actually a microscopic vision, you will see how each and everything in this world is actually getting destroyed. Every moment there is a destruction. So if you could see this phone, our bodies, or everything, even my specs, you see, everything is getting old. Old means The degeneration process is rapidly happening in everything. So time destroys everything in this creation. But ignorance goes on increasing. If the living entity continues to live in this material existence without Krishna consciousness, his or her ignorance goes on and on increasing. How do we understand it? It's just like, this material creation is compared to a river, a very swift flowing river. So the river is flowing in one direction swiftly. And if you're trying to swim across or trying to go against the current, okay, you have to work very hard. To go upstream is a very, very difficult task. If you're not swimming even for a moment, not only you remain, it's not that you don't make any progress. You don't make any progress for sure, but you don't remain stagnant as well. You go reverse. You're swept away reverse. So if a person is not struggling in the material creation to progress in Krishna consciousness, is definitely going downstream, going towards ignorance. So everything is destroyed by time in due course of time. So Vyasdev was wondering, how is it that Narada Muni still remembers the subject matter which transpired in the previous Kalpa Brahma? Of course, we understand, even in this lifetime, we forget things. If you take your childhood photo, you will see some shirt, you're wearing some shirt which doesn't exist anymore. And then you remember, oh, I had this beautiful shirt. So we forget the things. Forget about, childhood. Even what you ate in the morning in the breakfast today, if I ask, you have to actually text your brain. And you may remember. If I ask you, what did you eat yesterday in the breakfast? You might have to think a little more harder. But if I ask you, today is 4th of August, what did you eat on 4th of July in the breakfast? Or 4th of June this year? Even if you keep thinking for hours or days, you will not remember. So just imagine, even in this lifetime, the things are forgotten. Immediately things are forgotten. Time destroys even our memory, our remembrance. So therefore, Vyasdev is surprised that how is it that Narada Muni still remembers the subject matter that transpired millions and millions of years ago in the previous day of Brahma. Of course, this is possible by the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Mataha smritir jnanam apohanam. By my mercy, one receives smriti, remembrance, jnana, knowledge, and apohanam, even forgetfulness. Even forgetfulness is mercy of Krishna. You see, in this lifetime, sometimes people have some terrible experience and they are not able to forget it. They go insane, they go crazy. They have to consult psychiatrists and they have to take medication because they're not able to forget some horrible thing that happened to them in this lifetime. So even forgetfulness is a mercy of Krishna. Similarly, remembrance is also nothing but mercy of Krishna. So Narada Muni could remember everything by the mercy of Krishna. Of course, Krishna remembers everything, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita also. Bahunam Janmanam, Krishna says, what is this? Bahuni me vatitani janmani tavacharjuna. Tan aham veta sarvani natam veta parantapa. He's telling, my dear Arjun, Bahuni me, many, many lifetimes, both you and I have spent together. Tan aham Veda. I can remember all of them. Natvam Veda. But you don't know Arjun. You don't remember that. So because even though Arjun is a pure devotee of the Lord, because he is Jiva, he has a tendency to forget. He cannot remember everything. But Krishna, being the Supreme Lord, being the super consciousness or Supreme Conscious, he remembers everything that transpired with everyone at all times. So this is the difference between the ordinary living entity and the Supreme Lord. So therefore, Vyasadeva is inquiring from Nardmuni, how is it that Nardmuni remembers this instance of being the servant, the son of a maid servant, which transpired in the previous Brahma. So I think we'll stop here. If anyone has any questions, you may ask.